Are you ready to explore the extraordinary power you already possess to reshape your life through your thoughts? While this wisdom comes from teachers like Catherine Ponder and Emma Curtis Hopkins, these aren't mystical or religious practices. They're practical mental techniques that work for everyone, regardless of your belief system. Let's start with a simple truth. Your mind is constantly creating patterns based on what you repeatedly focus on. These patterns become the lenses through which you see opportunities, make decisions, and take action. The question isn't whether this process is happening, it's whether you're directing it intentionally. Consider Michael's story. For years, he worked at a job he disliked, constantly telling himself, "I'm stuck here. Good opportunities are rare, and who would hire me anyway?" Each morning, he'd rehearse these thoughts during his commute. Each evening, he'd reinforce them by scrolling through job listings and sighing, "Nothing for me here." When Michael learned about thought transformation, he realized he'd been programming his mind for limitation. He started with a small change, interrupting his negative commute thoughts with the question, "What if I'm not actually stuck? What if I'm exactly where I need to be to develop the skills for my next opportunity?" At first, this felt like empty self-talk, but he persisted, adding another practice. Each night, he spent 15 minutes envisioning his ideal work environment in detail, instead of scrolling through job listings with dread. How would it feel? What would he contribute? What kind of colleagues would surround him? Within 3 weeks, he noticed something shifting. He began participating more actively in meetings at his current job. He started seeing connections between his current role and elements of his ideal position. 6 weeks in, he volunteered for a project that aligned with his strengths, something he would never have done before. This project eventually connected him with a mentor who later recommended him for a position that matched his vision. Now, let's be clear about what happened. Michael didn't magically attract a new job through positive thinking alone. His changed thinking patterns altered his perception, which changed his actions, which produced different results. This process is available to everyone. Let's examine another example. Elena struggled with financial anxiety despite having a stable income. She constantly thought about past financial mistakes, worried about future expenses, and told herself, "I'm just not good with money." These thoughts created physical tension whenever she checked her bank account, leading her to avoid financial planning altogether. Applying these principles, Elena created a new thought pattern. Each time she felt financial anxiety, she would pause and say, "I'm learning to create a healthy relationship with money." She set aside 15 minutes every Saturday morning to appreciate what her money had provided that week, from the coffee she enjoyed to the roof over her head. Initially, this felt awkward and artificial, but within months, she noticed she could review her finances without the familiar knot in her stomach. She began researching financial strategies that interested her rather than avoiding money matters altogether. 2 years later, Elena had eliminated her debt and established savings for the first time in her adult life. The key insight from both stories is this: your thoughts create your perceptions, which influence your emotions, which drive your actions, which determine your results. Change the input, and you change the entire sequence. So how can you apply this in your own life? Let me offer 4 practical techniques. First, observe your current thought patterns without judgment. For 3 days, notice the recurring thoughts you have about an area of your life where you feel stuck. Don't try to change them yet, just become aware of them. Many of these thoughts operate below your conscious awareness, so bringing them into the light is the essential first step. Second, create interruption phrases. Once you've identified a negative thought pattern, develop a short, believable statement to interrupt it. Not an exaggerated affirmation, but a simple pivot point, like, "There might be another way to look at this," or "I'm open to new possibilities here." Use these interruption phrases whenever you catch an old pattern emerging. Third, establish a daily visualization practice. Spend 5 minutes each morning imagining yourself moving through your day with the qualities you want to embody. Perhaps confidence, creativity, or compassion. Feel these qualities in your body. This isn't about picturing specific outcomes as much as experiencing the feeling of your desired state. I cannot understate the importance of this. Fourth, transform your environment to support new thinking. Our physical spaces often reinforce our habitual thoughts. Change what's visible around you. Maybe add inspiring images to your workspace. Rearrange furniture to create a sense of spaciousness, or set up a dedicated spot for your morning visualization practice. For Lauren, who struggled with chronic self-doubt in her creative pursuits, she began leaving colorful sticky notes with examples of past successes on her bathroom mirror. This simple environmental change interrupted her morning spiral of self-criticism and planted seeds for different thoughts throughout her day. The most important thing to understand is that thought transformation isn't about denying reality or pretending problems don't exist. It's about approaching challenges from a perspective that empowers rather than diminishes you. It's about recognizing that while you can't control every circumstance, you always have a choice about where you place your mental focus. Start right now by asking yourself, what thought pattern has limited me the most? What new perspective would serve me better? Then commit to one small practice for the next week to begin shifting that pattern. Remember, your mind responds to consistency more than intensity. Small daily changes create powerful transformations over time. You've always been creating your experience through your thoughts. Now you're simply learning to do it with greater awareness and intention. The life you want begins with the thoughts you choose. If you've enjoyed learning about how changing your thoughts can change your life, do us a favor and hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You'll be more likely to create the change you want to see in your life. And thanks for watching.